Gossip is the antithesis of unity. If you have gossip spreading around, you can never have unity in your team. And that's because it just breaks down trust. Without trust, there can be no unity. We have a no gossip policy here. If you are the source of gossip or if you indulge in gossip, I will warn you once and then I will fire your butt and you have to leave. And we're strict with that. People know that I have that policy. So they avoid doing it. I can't tell you that I know each and everything happening here. I don't hear everything, but they know my stand with gossip.
You have a very busy schedule, I'm sure. I was going to ask you, how do you spend your time? But I believe that most of it is spent learning, honing your mind, training yourself, your skills. Eventually, anybody would get tired. Even if you have grit, respect for work, even if you're diligent, you're not afraid of getting your hands dirty. Eventually, everyone gets tired. For you to go on for this long, you need to have what people now call the why. Maybe it's your calling or something, but we just call it a why.
Yeah.
What is your why and how did you find it?
I would first explain the why or purpose statement of our organization. It's different from the mission and vision statements that we have. And our why statement is we exist because the world is underserved by digital marketing companies. There are just digital marketing companies out there who are not good or who are outright, and some of them even go so far as to just take money and scam other companies. And so there is a huge gap that is still yet to be filled. And I may be wrong, it may never be filled by digital marketing companies. We exist because of that gap. We want to serve the world in the best way we can in terms of digital marketing. It's a just cause. It is something that is worthy of a why. Personally, my why is, of course, directly related to my identity. I am a son of God, a child of God, and we have a mission. It is to go out and make disciples of all nations. And my D group leader in CCF, so I attend CCF, said that I'm the pastor of my organization. It's not easy to influence millennials. We're not all Christians here. We don't hire Christians. It's not a requirement. We do hire any and all kinds of people who have different beliefs. And one of the things that I would very much like to happen is for them to get to know the Lord. That's always going to be my why, is to help further the kingdom of God through the Great Commission. How I'm going to be able to do that is dependent on where God has called me. And right now, God has called me to be a businessman, an entrepreneur, and a voice in the Philippine startup market. So that's what I'm doing.
You cannot fulfill this calling of yours if there is no excellence in what you do.
People will not listen to you if you're not good at what you're called to be doing. You're just going to be another critic or another guy or girl with an opinion. And opinions are like armpits. Everybody has one. In fact, you may even have two, and they stink most of the time.
Nice.
That's the truth. People will criticize you. This society will tell you to go out, be successful. But I feel like sometimes if you are successful in a way, people are just waiting to throw rocks at you. I don't know if that's if anyone else shares similar experiences, but I noticed that people who are successful are criticized incessantly and rowdily by a lot of other people. I know some successful people. Everyone has their own opinions about these people, and most of them are not good. It's gossip. And what I realize is you just have to go the path that you're called to, not pay any mind to these critics. Do you know the pros man in the arena,
Yes.
right? You're the man in the arena. You're the one fighting there with your blood and sweat and your life. Everyone else in the auditorium is just watching you, jeering you, cheering you or jeering at you, and they may even be criticizing you, but in the end their opinions don't matter
It's
because
not the critic who counts, right?
it's not the critic who counts. It's you in that arena. I can tell you there are so many times that I've heard voices from those critics all around. So many times. And if I try to get it to me, in my heart and in my mind, I wouldn't be here today. You have to drown it out. You have to realize you're fighting a worthy fight. Just cause. There is a reason why you exist. And I'm called in that arena. They don't matter.
So you owe it to yourself to not allow those opinions of others to even reach you, or you don't allow yourself to be affected, because ultimately it's your choice to take it personally.
Yes. It is your choice to allow that to get in your heart, your mind. And that's dangerous. That's poison. Especially if some of those people are people you trust. Some of those people are people you took care of, or you even, you love them to a certain degree. I have had some people who worked for me and I took care of them, treated them like siblings. But in the end, they were worse than those critics because they tried to get in the arena to stab me in the back. There are those times and you just have to keep on fighting.
Unity is an important thing here.
Yeah.
I believe it's one of the foundations of your company, and this is, I think, considered a medium-sized enterprise.
I think small pa rin.
Small pa.
Pag 100 na, medium na. Yan ang sabi nila. So, small pa kami, small.
Small pa. But gradually, it's getting bigger and bigger. How do you plan to keep everyone unified? How do you plan to cultivate or encourage this the sense of unity, the sense of closeness, maybe even a familial feeling, with that, while still maintaining professionalism in the workplace?
We first have to educate them about the 5 enemies of unity. So I did a workshop about the enemies of unity, and that is, number 1 is gossip. Gossip is the antithesis of unity. If you have gossip spreading around, you can never have unity in your team. And that's because it just breaks down trust. Without trust, there can be no unity. We have a no gossip policy here. If you are the source of gossip or if you indulge in gossip, I will warn you once and then I will fire your butt and you have to leave. And we're strict with that. People know that I have that policy. So they avoid doing it. I can't tell you that I know each and everything happening here. I don't hear everything, but they know my stand with gossip. And that for me is good enough. And if we need to enforce it in terms of termination, my people know I have terminated people for gossip. That is something that's important. Keep it out. How do we do it? It's an everyday fight. You have to do it every single day, trying to keep these forces at bay. That is because if you let your guard down, they'll really crawl inside your gates and they will spread havoc. Second thing I really don't like, and is the enemy of unity, is unresolved conflict. If there are people between teams that don't see eye to eye, have bitterness harboring in their hearts, they're not going to be working well together. And they may even go so far as to sabotage each other's output. When that happens, who will suffer? First will be you as the entrepreneur, as the CEO. The next will be your clients, your customers who are shareholders of your company, because they're the ones paying you for what you're able to produce. When that happens, you will start losing people because now your revenue is less because your output sucked. When you start losing revenue, you have to Just let go of some people, maybe good ones, hopefully the bad ones, right? But you never want to be put in that position where you have to axe people out just because you're not making enough revenue. Because people know when a ship is sinking, they will really jump. They will get in the lifeboat and leave you. That's going to be very bad for morale. So, when you know something's happening between two parties in your team, immediately get them into one room and tell them you have to resolve it here and now. I will help mediate so that you guys don't hit each other below the belt, or the moment you're hitting each other below the belt, I will stop you. Don't get personal, but you have to resolve whatever's eating you guys up, because I don't require everyone here to be friends, especially outside of work. I don't require them to be friends, but I require everyone here to respect each other. We're all professionals. We all work together. You have to respect. Yeah, we have fun. We joke around. We may have jokes that, are very insider jokes. That's fine. But we respect each other nonetheless. Third is sanction incompetence. If you tolerate incompetence in your team, other people in your team will see that and say, oh, what he or she are doing is fine. That level of competence, then yeah, maybe I should follow suit. Then everyone will start to produce mediocre work or less than mediocre work because of that person, because you're tolerating that, and maybe you're even protecting that person. Even if their competence is low, they're producing mediocre to ugly output. Everyone will follow suit, and they will hate you for it because you're protecting a donkey and you're letting your stallion suffer or leave. You'll lose loyalty. And when you lose loyalty, your unity will break down. Next is lack of shared vision. It's difficult to run a united team where everyone is going different directions. You have to keep going to them and telling them, fall back in line, fall back in line, fall back in line. This is where we're going. Don't you remember this is where we're going? And that's because you did not communicate the vision enough to them. During our lunch break sessions, we also recite the mission and vision of the company. And in our meeting areas right now, so we have conference rooms, we made sure to place our purpose statements there, the thematic goals, how we're going to be able to achieve them, the defining objectives. So it's crystal clear. This is where we are going. And if you don't remember, read that. And if you don't remember, be here on lunch break. We're all going to be reciting it. Because the problem with vision is, and Bill Hybels repeatedly says this, is vision leaks. You just lose sight of it. Sometimes you forget, you get drowned out in the woes, hassles of your life. You have problems at home, with your parents, with your wife, with your kids. You have problems at work, with some people here, with some clients there, with some government officials. I don't know, but life happens. And the vision, it leaks out. What you need to keep doing as the entrepreneur is keep on filling that vision back in. We have a pail. There are holes. That's it. That's the only pail you're given. It has holes. The holes have names: family, mom, dad, bills at home, kids, wife, my manager, my supervisor. They have names. Vision will leak out. You as the entrepreneur, you have to fill that back in. So lack of shared vision is something that divides the team. Lastly is poor communication. If I tell you I'm going to have a party in Iceland and you're not from there, I'm not from there, I give you the directions, it's a hidden province in Iceland, and you get lost, how would you feel? You would have a great time going in that party. Were you there on time? But when you arrived, party's over. You'd feel frustrated, maybe even mad. And this is how a lot of companies run their organizations, is they give a map to their people saying, this is where the party is at. Be there on time. We're going to have great fun. And when they're following the map, it sucks and it takes them to the wrong places and they have a hard time traveling and getting into the right party. So what happens is they get frustrated, they get angry. Sometimes they vent out that anger and frustration to other people, resulting to gossip. Like, all of these 5 enemies of unity are intertwined together. Some of them work well with each other. So you have to keep all of the 5 things out. When you have poor communication, your people will get frustrated. And the reason why there's poor communication is because the management is afraid to communicate, or the management is so arrogant that they really want to keep things from the team. When you want to keep things from the team, you under-communicate or you do mushroom communication. Mushroom communication is keep them in the dark and feed them crap. That's how you grow mushrooms. And when you grow mushrooms, In people's brains, anything that's bad becomes worse and worse and worse until it is 10 times worse in their brains than what it really is. That's what mushroom communication does. So we would rather over communicate here at SEO Hacker. And I tell my team, you guys are mature individuals. You guys are adults, and I will treat you like adults. I will treat you as mature individuals, but you have to carry the burden of keeping this here in this circle and solving this problem here within this meeting. We do not talk about it outside. So I give them the burden of being mature individuals who will carry the burden with me without gossiping, but I communicated clearly to them. So that keeps our team united. And all of these things are being wrapped up in a software we use here internally. We developed the software. It's called Teamster. We're going to be opening it up to the public this coming May. We're already running it with some companies who have partnered with us and have agreed to use it with their teams. We are running it in SEO Hacker. We've been running it for, I don't know, like over a year now. But without the system, we were just using Google Docs before, some contact forms before. We've been running it since 2016. So we've been doing it 4 years now. And it has helped keep the team as united as it has ever been. And believe me, I've had mutinies before. I have had mass resignations. I have had all sorts of problems and headaches that really ate up some of my life. That's how I can really put it, because I felt so stressed, so frustrated, so hurt with the betrayals that I've faced before. And now the team, we have the most number of people. That means we have the most number of tendencies to have mutinies, mass resignations, gossips, unresolved conflicts, but it's not happening. And that's because we have been communicating the importance of unity, and we have this software that helps us keep unity intact in our company.